Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. I hope you're doing well. I'm back at my kitchen table. I came in from outside. Yay! And I have a chance to jump in here with you. And I'm glad to be with you again. It's, I want to talk about how a red door is a great comparison to a memorable podcast. And you're like, Dave, I have no idea where you're going with this. Well, that's great. Then stick around. You're going to love it because I want your episodes to be memorable long after the play, long after you got that statistic and analytic on your page. Somebody listen to your podcast. Woo! I want there to be something a little bit more lasting and for people to connect with you long term and your show to be memorable. I want this episode to be memorable and I want you to never see a red door the same way again after this episode. That means it's going to stick with you, right? Right. Okay, here we go. Again, I want to just jump in quick and thank Dave Beckmeyer and Bill Monty, two of my podcasting buddies, one from California, Dave, one from Florida, Bill, and their attendance and support and being such an active community member for our meetup group. Meetup groups are free. And Dave and Bill got together without my supervision, which is great, and recorded a little clip about what they think of our meetup group. I want to throw it in here again, just in case this is your first time here. Welcome, by the way. I would love to have you come join our meetup group. You don't have to have a podcast to be there, but it does help because we talk podcasting. We're not there to talk about business or, mental health. Those are all very, very important. But there's groups for that. There's not very many groups that talk about podcasting, so that's what we created. Yes, we do family stuff. We support each other. We're there for each other. We talk about other things adjacent to podcasting, but podcasting is our focus and why we get together. It's the reason for what we do. So if you're interested in podcasting, whether you have a show or not, whether you're thinking about it, you're pod curious, come join our pod squad. We'd love to have you join us. It's fun. It's a great time. We meet Tuesdays and Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays, 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings Eastern. And wherever you are in the world, we have people from Indonesia, Italy. We have people from France in the past. We've had people in the U.S. and Canada. We'd love to have you join us. It's a great group of people. Here's Dave and Bill sharing their thoughts about the meetup group. And I'm thrilled to hear what they think of it. They'll explain it to you. Here's Dave and Bill.
This episode got me thinking about something I've been doing almost every Saturday for the last several years now. Regarding real change taking longer than a weekend, I wanted to mention a podcast meetup run by a friend of the show, David Campbell. Rather than have Dave do a promo about it himself, I spoke with a fellow member of the group, Bill Monty.
I was so lucky to just stumble upon Dave's meetings. The first meeting, I knew this was different than other groups I had belonged to. First off, the other groups I had to pay to be in. And sometimes I was completely ignored, never asked a question or even acknowledged that I was part of a little 5-person group. And so this became something very different for me. And really it was someone tossing me a lifeline because at that point I was just thinking about giving up podcasting. Dave uses the word community a lot, and that's exactly what we've built. We've built this little podcasting community of people who actually care for each other. There's no judgment. There's no sales. It's a great place to learn, and it's a great place to feel safe.
If you're looking for a podcast community that feels more like a long-term conversation than a weekend transformation, the easiest way to join is visit Dave's site, howtopodcast.ca, and scroll down to the meetup. It's free, and honestly, it's one of the few podcast groups I keep coming back to.
So let's get into today. I really want to talk about this. I've mentioned this on interviews when I've been a guest and chatted about this red door concept and why this is so important. Because I think as podcasters, we need to make our podcast episode as memorable as possible. Okay, it's one thing to put a podcast out there and record it, release it, and move on to the next one. But how much intent do we have behind the scenes to make our show memorable? And why is this so important? The rationale behind the red door. Let's start here for a second. My wife and I have purchased real estate in the past, and we've gone out with a real estate agent. They drive you from one location to the next. They usually have a bunch of places to go see, and they all kind of look the same after a while. You're like, they don't really stand out. Was that the place with the bathroom on the right or the left? Did that have the yellow room or the blue room? Was the kitchen this way or that way? Did it have a balcony or not? I don't remember, right? So what we've been doing in the past is we select something that's memorable about the location, and that becomes the reference point to remind us about what the place looked like, what it was all about. So, for example, we might say, well, that was the house with the red door. Oh, the red door house had the 2-car garage instead of the 1-car garage. It had the outdoor pool instead of the in-ground pool. It had the gas fireplace, and it had this and this and this and this. The red door is kind of a signal that unlocks for us memories about that location because we both know what we're talking about. We're agreeing we're talking about the same house. Compared to the other house, which was maybe the blue garage door house, right? You associate these things with the one identifiable thing, right? That's really helps. And so in podcasting, it's kind of interesting because it's a similar thing. We want our show to stand for something, and we want people to remember what it's all about. When I was out of college, I went and did a whole bunch of time as a recruiter for an HR company, and we placed people in temporary jobs and full-time jobs, and we were like a headhunter and all that stuff. And I would go out, and my job was to do interviews as a recruiter, and I would meet with sometimes in one day 20, 30, 40 people. So that's a lot of talking to people, a lot of meeting strangers and having a conversation with them, gathering their work history, putting it all together and trying to place them like later that week, that month in positions. So you have to be really good at data collection and remembering these people and not getting them all mixed up. So what I would do is I would actually ask my person that I'm interviewing what their red door was. And the look on their face, because this is a regular job interview, nobody's expecting that one. Tell me your strengths and your weaknesses, blah, 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 blah. Right? Yeah, no, I hated those questions. So I would go after something like, tell me your red door. And the look on their face would be, I don't know what you're doing and I don't know what's happening right now. And I would explain this concept to them, what I just mentioned to you. So I'm like, what's going to be memorable about you that I'm going to remember this conversation that you and I are having right now, a week from now, 2 weeks from now. And then I would put my hand on the stack of resumes in front of me. These are the people that I'm going to meet today. These are the people I'm going to talk to. I don't want to forget this conversation. I want to remember what we discussed together so I can get you in the right job. So how am I going to remember you over this entire stack of papers in front of me so that we can put you in the right place? So I flip that question back to you as a podcaster. How am I going to remember your show? Out of millions of podcasts out there, many podcasts about what you talk about, what makes your show different, better, unique? What makes your show stand out against all of the other ones so that I can remember you in this big stack of podcasts on my desk? How do I remember your show? And if you don't have something memorable about your show will be forgotten. That's how it works. So it could be anything. And it could be something really important that you've been neglecting for a long time as a podcaster. And it's time for you to focus on your red door. What is it? And why does it matter? Our brains remember things as anchors. They remember things that we can attach ourselves to. When I was interviewing candidates, I assigned to them a standout detail to each person so that I could recall the conversation and bring it back to myself later when the person had left the room. When I tour houses, that red door was that mental shortcut that helped unlock the entire property and remember everything about it, the good and the bad. The same principle applies to audio and to podcasting. Listeners do not remember every minute of your show. I know that's shocking to know, right? You're not going to remember every minute of this episode. You will remember the red door. They will remember the moments that actually stick with them. There's three different ways that I want to share with you around how to give your podcast its own red door. And the first is to create a signature moment in every episode. Your signature, the thing you sign at the bank, right? Or to buy a house or any legal document. You have to sign your name, actually, right? Actual pen, paper. It's a real thing still, at this point. You have to have your signature. What's your signature for your podcast? What is the thing about your show that makes it you? Different than everybody else. Pick one repeatable element for your podcast that shows up in the same place each time. It could be a quick story, a listener question, a bold statement, a short ritual that signals this is our show, right? The consistency that you build into what you do in your content builds a pattern, and that pattern becomes the anchor. So in this show, what do I have? I have little sound clip things in between each segment. That's one thing. I have kind of the same idea for the intros. I get right to it. I don't do a 5-minute preamble about how amazing I am and how many awards I have and why I'm the most important podcaster in podcasting. Other people do that, and they do that very well, and people love them. I don't. I don't have any of that stuff, and I have none of the accolades to support it. I'm just a guy who records in his house, and I don't work for a company. Nobody pays me to talk to you. I do this on my own time and in the margins of life, like most of us, right? And that's the signature for this show. What's your signature? You could have a topic that someone else talks about, but your show's different. Why is it? Why is it different? What's your signature thing about your podcast? Think of it like your theme music, but for content. When the moment arrives, the listener brain, they perk up because it becomes something known and expected. That's your signature. And if you don't know what your signature is, and you and I need to talk, howtopodcast.ca, calendar links right there. Let's go. The predictability of a signature creates comfort for your audience, and that comfort creates a memory. So create a signature moment in every episode. That's your homework. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you don't know how to do this, howtopodcast.ca, calendar link, let's go. The second one here is to use vivid language and concrete images for your podcast listener. Abstract ideas in podcasting, they fade. They're easily forgotten. Specific images stick. That's why stories matter, right? When you explain a concept, tie it to something the listener can picture, like a red door, right? These details act like mental bookmarks for your audience and helps them anchor themselves to what you're saying. If you don't have these, and AI is not good at creating these, by the way, they come from personal lived experiences. Again, we are better than AI because we have stories and things that resonate with us and memories that we can draw from that AI doesn't have, unless we give them all of our memories. Your recurring analogy in your podcast, it helps for your podcast listener to connect with it. Again, I go back to the red door. It's a visual, it's personal, it's something that you can picture in your mind. You don't need a picture. You don't actually need me to do video podcasts to give you this visual. You know what a red door looks like, most likely. If not, Google red door. I'm not sure what you're going to get, but Google that and see. When you describe a lesson or a main point, wrap it in a scene. The more the listener can see what you're saying in their mind, the more they will remember it. Even if you're video podcast, you still need to tap into this. And the third part here, end with a clear takeaway that they can repeat and put into practice. Memory thrives on simplicity. Not complex, not super detailed, not 35,000 facts and stats and figures. No. Memory thrives on simplicity. Choose each episode with one sentence that captures the core idea of what you're doing. Make it short enough to repeat, strong enough to matter, and specific enough to feel actually useful. Like you can put this into practice. If a listener can quote you line by line to a friend without you prompting them and reminding them, oh, this is what I said. No, they can do it on their own. You have given them the tools to share your show, and you've given them a red door for your episode. This is not about being flashy as podcasters, right? We're not here to dazzle people with our intellect. Some people want to be. Or let's find the biggest word possible to describe something super simple. I'm going to flatter you with my knowledge of big words. There's some podcasts out there, and I'm like, that's exorbitant. Oh, there you go. I just used a big word. That's exorbitant use of language, and all you're doing is just showing off. And it's a little awkward because I don't know if you need to be alone with your big words, but you really love them. You don't need to do that. Keep it simple. And instead of that phrase being the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. I think that's a terrible way of saying. How about keep it super simple? Isn't that a little bit more positive than calling people stupid? Yeah. Keep it super simple. That's how we should do our podcast. Something memorable, built around a visual that people can remember. And that's going to make your podcast something that people talk about. And talk about behind your back in a good way. And that's how podcasts grow. Word of mouth. So give people the words. Give people the visual. Show them the red door. And they'll do the rest for you. That's how you grow a podcast. Not by paying somebody on LinkedIn. Nope. That's not a good idea. Give people the words, the visuals, and they'll do the work for you because they love you. And they love what you do on your podcast. That's what you need to do. You got some homework. All the stuff in the show notes, go check them out. Remind yourself of this and put this into practice. Don't listen to this and go on with your day and then never come back. Make this memorable. What's your red door? How is your show going to show up for me in my memory in the future, long after this conversation? Your red door is the door that reminds you of the great things right behind that door. So use it and remember it, because a good podcast is worth sharing. Your podcast is amazing. More people need to know about it. Head towards the red door. You got this. So here at the How to Podcast series, we love to hear from you. You might think that we get a lot of feedback. Man, we don't. We don't get a lot because people just feel like, why bother? Like, why does Dave really care what I have to say? And I do. I actually do really care what you have to say. I love your input. I love hearing from you. And we've started a survey for our listening audience, which includes you right here, right now. And I'd love, love, love for you to head over to howtopodcast.ca. And you'll see our survey right there on our website. And take a few minutes, come through, answer the thoughtful questions we're asking of you to make the show better. Not just for you, but for everyone. Your feedback is really going to help shape the show. And I selfishly just want to hear from you. So if you're thinking, Dave probably already knows what I think, I don't. I really don't. I'm not good at reading minds. My wife will confirm that completely. So I don't really know what you think of the show. I don't know if you like it, if you like how long the show is, how long the episodes are, that Dave's doing 365 episodes in a year. Oh my gosh. Like, I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this very show right here. So head over to howtopodcast.ca, click on our survey link. It's also in the show notes for every episode, in the most recent episodes, and I'd love to hear from you. So as a listener of this here very show, your feedback can make this show so much better. So much better. And I'm not drowning in emails and voice messages and speak pipes and buy me a coffees right now. So I'm putting the ask out to you right now, as a listener of the show, and you're still here, that you take a moment, head over to our website, click the link in the show notes for any episode, and go to our survey and let us know your thoughts about this show, how it could be better, and what you love, and what you're like, Dave, can you stop doing this? That would be really helpful. Thanks for being here and being part of the How to Podcast family. See you over at howtopodcast.ca. Talk soon. Thanks for being here. Bye. You're still here? Great. Okay, so for podcasters, I had somebody ask me, Dave, what's the measurement of success that you have for your show? How do you know if you're being successful? And there's a lot of different things you can do here. There's a lot of opinions, and most of them are fine. Not a problem. But a lot of them tend to be around money, and only successful podcasters make money. I've heard people say that you need to be on shows that are making money because at least they're committed to being a podcaster. And I'm like, that's a little vague, because I'm not making money with my show directly at all. I have the kindness of people who listen, who use my Buy Me a Coffee, but I don't have ads, and I'm not monetized. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just a guy creating content. And the audience is responding, and you're responding, and I'm just thrilled and thankful that this is valuable to you and that you're still here. This is the best part, is you're still here listening to this part. Other people have already left. You're still here. It's amazing. Success for me is connecting with people. That's it. I podcast to connect with people. I don't podcast to sell you a mattress. I don't podcast to help a supplement company meet their objectives financially through podcasting. I don't do that. No, I'm not interested in any of that. I'm interested in you. And I'm interested in being here for you and helping you and encouraging you, demonstrating to you how to podcast, talking about how to podcast, sharing tips on how to podcast, exposing you to other podcasters who do it differently than I do on how to podcast. It's meant to be a tool for you, a library, an ongoing resource, 365 episodes in a row to help you on your journey. This show flies under the radar of all the other shows. I don't get acclaim. I don't get notifications. I don't get awards. I'm not in a hall of fame or none of that stuff. I'm just a guy creating content for you for the express purpose of helping you with your podcast. That's it. That's the whole reason I'm here. So my success metric might be different from yours, but if you don't know what yours is, then you might want to do some research and figure this out, because it's going to direct all of your decisions. Success is up to you. And when you show up with your audience and do serve them well, success will find you. That's how it works. howtopodcast.ca. Go out there and be successful, whatever that means to you. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I'm always looking to refill my cup. Thanks for being here. Take care.